Nah, you lit?
Yeah.
Hey, I got Mondays like here for the introduction.
Point guard.
Hey, I know.
Let's go, Bryce. You got to run point, Bryce.
You want me to run point? Hey, man, that's Andre. So, wow. That's crazy. But what I will say is, man, I have an appreciation for the fact that they gave Reggie Miller some time, a lot of time, because I think like he deserved it, even though he didn't win a ring. So that was good for me. I don't know about you guys. I mean, that was the first thing that came to my mind. Was like that. Like I appreciate the fact that they gave Reggie Miller some time. They showing him the kids can actually see him, like how we saw him, or I know how I saw him when I was a kid and how good he was. So,
Reggie Miller deserves a statue
in Indiana.
Outside that arena, he deserves a statue. Then he punked. I ain't gonna say he punked out Jordan, but he went at him.
Not only was Reggie Miller good, his team was so good. Like his team was good. Man.
Y'all don't understand how good Rick Smith and Davis boys were, man.
Jalen Rose.
Yeah, Mark Jackson at the point. That was a great group.
Yeah.
I just think Reggie Miller slept on in general, like as far as shooting and his ability to make clutch shots.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the things we saw Reggie Miller do, like people still haven't done, like hitting those 11 points in whatever crazy amount of seconds it was. I mean, we just haven't seen anything like that. And then going at one of the greatest, the greatest to ever play, and thinking that he should have beat him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You just can't beat that. I love watching Reggie play and love that he got the respect he deserved tonight.
I agree.
I think Reggie was one of those guys that approached it the right way when it came to playing Michael Jordan. Like he said, like it was a lot of dudes that was really scared of Mike, and you saw it. Like, you know, Barkley admitted, you know, partial way through his series with Mike that, hey, man, there's somebody out there that's better than me. Whereas Reggie looked at it was like, man, you're going to have to beat me. You know what I mean? I'm not coming off of it like it.
Dude, the most disrespectful thing I've seen, though, when Michael Jordan licked his tongue at Mark Jackson, then threw the ball off his head. Like, we fighting.
Reggie came to fight him though. Like I don't know. Yeah, Reggie was like, "Let's go." Like you know what I'm saying. You're not gonna like that.
That was. I think young players can have a lot to learn from watching Reggie. Like you don't see guys move without the ball like they should, and Reggie was one of those dudes that, however you wanted it, you know what I'm saying. But especially moving without the ball, being able to not have to be ball dominant and score. Like we see a lot of guys today that have to be ball dominant to get it off. Like in that time, a guy like Buddy Hield, who can score in his own right, not to this level of these greatness of these guys, but like you don't see a whole lot of guys that get it off the ball like that no more. Like everybody gotta rock that guy 5 or 6 times before they really get into it. That's how Locke play.
And Reggie didn't just shoot threes.
I'm below the basket.
Reggie didn't just shoot threes too. Reggie shot like curls. He down, shoot a 2. He shot floaters.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? He would sneak long dunk you every now and then, but like he just knew how to play the game the right way. And like you said, a lot of young guys just can't. They don't have the feel that he had on the court of how to score without having to take more than 2 or 3 dribbles in a possession.
Sure. I think we got like Rip Hamilton after Reggie, and now you got Klay Thompson, but not a lot of guys that can do it in minimum dribbles, you know.
Let me ask you that. Does anybody teach that at the younger level?
We should. We should. Like, if you're not shooting catch and shoots now, that like, I mean, I don't, you know.
Analytics has kind of killed the mid-range shot, though, because they say now you can only take layups and threes. And, you know, I believe analytics is just guys who wear glasses and never played basketball trying to find a way to make themselves valuable in basketball. And for whatever reason, people are listening to them. Because whatever your best shot is the shot you should take. I don't care what the guy who never played tells me to do. If I make more mid-range jump shots and floaters, then that's the shot I need to take. I don't take a bunch of threes.
Yeah.
So that's just guys creating a way to give themselves value and make money and give themselves some longevity in a business that they really have no business being belonged in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, I think that's why the corner three has almost become as close to a mid-range as what you're going to get nowadays. But in the playoffs, I think it changes a little bit because in the playoffs, you're going to see some mid-range because I don't think Kawhi trying to hear that. Like those guys, superstar guys, like they're going to shoot, the shots that, like you said, Coach, like they're supposed to shoot.
How many rings do you think Reggie wins if Mike's not in his way?
Two or three.
I don't know because by the time you get to Reggie's, after Mike was gone, Reggie got to the finals. You still had to deal with Kobe and Shaq. Like that was still a problem for him.
It's a few times he could have got to the finals. Just like that time when Tayshaun Prince blocked his shot.
Yeah.
And he keep Eastern Conference finals. So a couple times he could have made it.
But if you win that game 7 and then you go on and win the finals, now your confidence and your savvy just as a team and as a unit and as a group is so much different. Like he kind of said that the Bulls championship culture took over in game 7.
Yeah.
They somehow get through that and they win. Now they have a championship culture and now they might sneak through and win some more series that they shouldn't.
I think if they win that game, Coach, I think they do win the finals. I think whoever comes out of the East, I think during that whole time period, for me anyway, I always felt like the Eastern Conference team was going to win. Like whether it was MJ, the Knicks, when they made it, like I was, I actually picked. I thought the Knicks was going to beat Houston when they matched up with Houston at that time. If John Starks doesn't go crazy, maybe they do. But the East was definitely tough, man. I think between them, then Miami, you had Miami up under them. After that, you had Charlotte up under those guys. Like the East was tough.
Most definitely.
G's back.
Mike was bopping to Kenny Lattimore like that was New Orleans bounce music. Y'all didn't see that?
Yeah, I had to Google him.
Oh man,
I had to Google him. I didn't know who that was.
You didn't know who Kenny Lattimore was?
No.
How old are you, man?
30.
Hey, listen.
He has no idea who Kenny Lattimore is there.
But, Coach, I always wonder what young guys listen to when they have a woman in the car. Like, when y'all take a nice young lady out on a date, what do y'all listen to, bro?
I'm playing Drew Hill.
Yeah,
they got the baby.
Definitely playing Drew Hill. Usher.
Keith Sweat.
Hey, that Confessions always works. You never go wrong with Usher.
If I'm really in the mood, I'm playing that Pretty Ricky.
Okay.
You talking that Ricky,
Hey,
I can't believe
Ricky had me up throughout high school, man.
I can't believe Mike was in the back of the bus and when they asked him what he listened to, he's listened to the early release of Kenny Lattimore. I thought Mike was listening to like New Orleans bounce music or go-go or like he bopping to Kenny Lattimore though. Like,
and he flexed on him. He told him, "Yeah, this not even out yet."
Yeah.
He's my friend, so he just said to me. Like, what, Mike? Why you gotta tell him that, Mike?
Hey, I thought Mike was gonna bust out with like the fishbone necklaces and all that stuff with the she sails and all that stuff, man. That was an odd part of that for me. But I guess everybody's pregame traditions is a little bit different.
Oh yeah, I played that Jacquees too.
What rap was like? What rapper was hot or group was hot at that time period? Biggie.
Yeah, you got
Tupac, it's the late 90s. Tupac,
being Rakim, like real rap music.
Yeah, DMX, like all them.
Yeah.
So it was plenty for him to listen to then.
For sure. Mike, we're not going to talk about the fact that Mike just really don't like hip-hop. Like, that's the thing. Mike has always been connected to hip-hop and hip-hop culture. But Mike really don't rock with hip hop like that, and that's something we never.
That man really had the piano in his room, dog. Y'all gonna overlook that, right? Like
Mike had his own locker room. Are we gonna talk about Mike having his own locker room now? Now that the documentary is over,
how they turned the regular floor into a smoking floor.
And when you have 5 rings, man, that's how it goes.
He got the longest cigars I've ever seen, too.
Man, what?
Where'd you get those from?
But that's a different generation, man. We talking about in their time coming through, guys was drinking beer in the locker room at halftime, smoking cigarettes. Vlade Divac chain smoking cigarettes back there for the Lakers. Like, it's a totally different time.
Well, no, it's cats still doing that. Like in Europe, they still smoke cigarettes at halftime.
Word.
Yeah.
What did that do?
They smoke cigarettes before the game too, like before the game, like right before warm-ups. Like they're really smoking cigarettes.
Only people I see doing it, drinking beers and smoking, is people I play with at the party. I'm the only guys I see smoking and drinking.
Guys that got to go change an alternator after the game. That's the only dudes I ever seen smoke before the game. That's crazy though.
Come out there, them old guys passing out buckets.
Mike busting dudes up. They had 6 beers and 2 cigars before the game and come out and drop you 50 on you.
Going back to your point on how Mike didn't really connect to hip hop, I mean, one of the most interesting things to me out the whole documentary tonight was he said that he wanted to hang out with the security guys and older guys to have them kind of the guys who influenced him and kind of had, his ear, which just shows you he had an older soul and he was kind of like on a different place. So, I think he respected all his teammates and he knows that he needed them. But in life, especially after his dad passed, because obviously his dad was like his ace, he wanted older guys around him, which is, I think, very different than the culture today. I think they think older guys are like dinosaurs and they don't know what's going on. Max. They rather have younger guys around them, or they rather talk to their peers on Twitter, Instagram, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Snapchat. So they got the blind leading the blind, where he had old guys who had experience and had done things, maybe not to the level he had on the basketball court, but in life. So he trusted them. And I hope that the young guys saw that and took that in.
Yeah, to me, and going off your point, which I agree with 100%, it was interesting to see how he gravitated towards Gus. Like that, you could tell, like that was his guy. Like you could tell, like that was my guy. And you know what I'm saying? And he probably didn't really want anything from me. He was going to give me 100% truth of like everything you're saying. So that was something for me that I had never seen before. Like I never heard about that. I had never heard about Gus. I never heard about this. I never. So I learned something right there, like off that.
That's the crazy thing about this whole dynamic. And I think we talked about it earlier in the documentary, that I joke about MJ having his own separate locker room, but that was true. Like him and his teammates, you know what I mean? They weren't like that. Like he was like that with his security guys. I think him and Pip had that working respect and relationship, but it's not like the NBA or you see today. Like the 98 Bulls weren't the team dinner team. You know what I mean? Went out together all the time team.
So, Mandre, do you have an issue with the fact that he had his own locker room, being that he was who he was?
I mean, you can do whatever you want at the end of the day. Like, as long what they figured out was something that worked for them. I mean, I got to give Phil a lot of credit when you can handle a team like that. Like, I just look at it as odd because it's not what we communicate to young kids today. We always talk about chemistry and how chemistry wins, and that's how you build your culture, and guys hanging out with each other off the floor and all of that stuff. We talk about those things, team building and all that stuff. Right. This team was crazy successful, and there are plenty of stories saying they would go out and be in the same club and everybody got their own section in the club and nobody's tight like that. So, I mean, obviously it worked, but
yeah, I it worked for them also because they're grown men, they're adults. So Dennis knows his limits, which they are extreme, but he knew them. Mike knew Mike knew he needed his own little room to get himself together and so on and so forth. So I mean, I think that's why it worked, because they did know what each one of them needed. You know what I mean? So,
hey, I think these comments from More Skittles is hilarious in here.
Karl Malone was a bucket, first of all.
Hey, he was giving buckets to Dennis Rodman in those series.
And Dennis, yeah, that was a battle.
It's too big.
I remember that.
Are y'all not tired of hearing that Jordan didn't play against anybody and didn't beat anybody and that his era was bad and that's why he won all the like? Come on, what are y'all talking about? Karl
I
Malone.
don't think they can go that far. I think that's too
loud.
Right? Like, what are y'all talking about?
Texted that trivia and I said he beat 7 60-win teams.
Yeah, I think to say he didn't play anybody is going.
Now, that was you, Andre. You said you didn't like the competition he played. That was you, Andre.
I didn't say that. I did not say that at all.
Something like that,
I
Monday.
never-
Yeah,
He said
what I said was that the Spurs that LeBron beat are wiping any of those teams that MJ beat in the finals, and I think that's true.
the Spurs.
What?
I'm
The Spurs are wiping those teams.
Come on, man. I
You are tripping, man.
Hey, well, tell me who are the Spurs not beating? The Spurs are not beating.
The Lakers, so you tell me the Lakers were trash?
No, I didn't say any of those teams were trash. I didn't say any of those teams were trash. I did not say any of
Do
those.
you know how good the bad boys were? How hard it was to get through the bad boys? They were literally tackling him, like literally, like blood coming down his eye, like it was crazy.
They were good teams. I said in the finals. He didn't beat them in the finals. He beat them in the Eastern Conference.
He had to beat them to even get to the finals. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it was crazy.
I'm with you.
But
that wasn't the statement. The statement was, the statement was about LeBron and his path. And when I look at,
I don't think LeBron's beat anybody. He hasn't beat anybody. He hasn't beat one good team.
Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward to ever live.
I love Tim Duncan. I think he's actually underrated.
He's the greatest power forward to ever live.
Tim Duncan gives you a perception or a feel that Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are better than they are. They were just solid players, played in a great system with a great coach and one hell of a player.
And
individually, they're average players. They're average players. That's what they are.
Okay.
I've never heard that.
Kawhi Leonard was on that team as well.
Kawhi was a young pup and he was a monster, but he was a young pup. That boy don't want no part of Michael Jordan. No, at that age, no part of Michael Jordan.
But see, that's the thing though. I never said anything that Kawhi was gonna stop Michael Jordan. We never said that.
Kawhi was very good, but he was young. And I actually
on that team.
Kawhi as he gets older. Like I really wish the playoffs would happen this year so we can kind of see what he's gonna do again. Because that's a monumental run that he did last year.
I think he was gonna do it again. I think they were gonna be in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, they've been in the West Bank. They were lost
for sure. But I think that's odd. Now the Spurs aren't better than Phoenix. Word.
Phoenix was a good team. Charles Barkley is a grown ass man.
They're better than the Spurs.
Listen.
And I noticed y'all never actually answered this question though. Are they better than them?
They didn't play against each other, so it's hard for me to say. But I don't want people to disrespect those teams. Like to say that they're just way better, head and shoulders, they would just beat them. I think that's ridiculous. Like they were good teams.
I don't think they should be disrespected either. I don't. I think they're really good.
That's crazy. I mean, now that you say it, I mean, he did. I mean, Tony Parker. I thought Tony Parker was amazing
because he played with Tim Duncan.
But I see your point clearly. And as I hear you,
I mean that's what.
Ginobili wasn't a regular player.
What does Tony Parker do in Michael Jordan's era?
I think he's roughly about the same guy.
Okay, how about Ginobili? Ginobili was a player.
I think they were great for that system.
Great in that system.
They were great in that
question.
Terrific. There's a lot of players in the NBA that you could say that, but an all-world, once-in-a-lifetime player is gonna make you look better. I mean, Tim Duncan's a once-in-a-lifetime player, and they have a once-in-a-lifetime coach on the sideline. Like, I'm never gonna argue that Tony Parker is better than Chris Paul. I'm not saying that, but I
just think this whole series has got to put that to bed that Mike didn't play anybody, dude. Like that to me even makes
I don't
sense.
think there should ever be. I don't think anybody that watched
That Utah team is a really good team. Like that's a good team they just beat.
To go into Utah in that environment with John Stockton. I don't think
anybody with half a mind can say that MJ didn't beat anybody. I think that's a little bit much.
It's said all the time, though. I know you hear
nobody.
As much as I'm a fan of LeBron, I don't think he could do what Mike did.
He can't do what Mike did in this era against these dudes. Well, he had no chance against those dudes.
And listen, I love LeBron. The shot and the things that we've seen Mike do.
Hey, bro, I'm never gonna say that. I don't think I could say that any player could, right? But I think what was said in the end of this documentary was a true statement and a statement that's not looked at in its totality when we talk about these players, right? Mike had an opportunity to play with Scottie Pippen, one of the most underrated players to ever go and lace him up. Was an incredible player, a top 50 guy, right? Hall of Fame player. Had a chance to play with Dennis Rodman. I heard people questioning crazy. Would Dennis Rodman translate till today? Bro, 20 rebounds a game translates to any year. 20 rebounds a game translates to any level, right? But he also had one of the best coaches ever when it comes to handling everything around that team. Phil Jackson did it masterfully. And Phil proved that not only could he do it with Chicago, Phil took that same package to LA and did it again. Right? He also played for a pretty incredible GM. GM and ownership had to go up to go get Pippen. They had to draft Horace Grant. They had to make those moves, those interchangeable pieces that they had to get in and out. They went overseas and got Kukoc, an overseas guy that could play right away and contribute at a high level. A lot of GMs could not do that. You have other stars who weren't afforded any of those things. So I think that's where the questions really come into play, is you have other guys who came through, especially for guys who didn't get a chance to play for Phil Jackson. And people are saying, hey, well, man, if these guys were afforded some of those things, maybe that finals record would look different. And I can't say that they lying for that.
With all of that said, if you don't have Mike, like the story is not even the story.
Yeah.
Like, they won a game 87. They won the last game 87-82.
They were 500.
So you can talk all that Phil Jackson and all that.
They were 500 without Pippen. They were 500 without Pippen on the floor. They were 500. We just saw that in the last 2 episodes. They were 500 without Pippen. No.
When Jordan, do you realize when Jordan didn't play? Not the next year after they still had the Jordan field. They were 34-31 when Jordan came back with Pippen, the great Pippen that you're talking about. Pippen, the same Pippen who act like he had an injury, didn't get the surgery till late, missed most of the season. The same Pippen who gets the back injury in the last game and can't
coach, man, back problem, man. Back problem.
The same Pippen that didn't want to go in the game when Phil Jackson called to play for Kukoc and stayed on the bench. That same Pippen. Is that the one you're talking about?
Hey, so you're saying he's not a Hall of Famer?
Hey, my man
doesn't play with Michael Jordan. We have no idea who Scottie Pippen is. We would never have heard about him. No idea.
No idea.
I don't agree with that one. I agree with everything you said besides that.
Not good. Rodman's not good.
No, it's the same thing. Just think about the whole conversation we've had today. Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are good because they played with Tim Duncan. So that player elevates guys and makes guys around him better. Michael Jordan did the same exact thing for Scottie Pippen. The exact same thing. Scottie Pippen was really good because he played with Michael Jordan and it gave him a different feel. it taught him some different things. He saw something different in practice every day. It made him better.
No, it didn't.
The same exact thing. What's the reason?
Tex Winters and Phil Jackson made them better.
Ability, but obviously there's some issues there too. Like no, it's not like he was just some amazing stud like the whole time. Like, come on, man. Like, look at the whole package of the whole thing now.
I think Phil Jackson and Tex Winters had a lot to do with that, with the system and how they played the game.
But Mike still had to run the show though. He still had to hit the shots. He still had to,
for sure.
45 of the 87, bro. Like, look at the stats. Like, it's crazy.
And I think that's where the conversation turns, because anytime I feel like you talk about another player's past, it's almost as if you down talking MJ. You can't love basketball and down talk MJ. You can't. Like, so I'm not saying that. It doesn't take away from anything from MJ's greatness to say that those other guys were great. But I think it's crazy to say that those other guys weren't great. Like, to say that Pippen wasn't great when he was great when he went to Portland still after that run, he was still good.
Oh, great.
No,
he
wasn't
great when he went to Portland. He wasn't great.
They were in the Western Conference Finals.
I don't even remember Pippen playing basketball after the Bulls.
But that team
They were in the Western Conference Finals.
But it wasn't just, I mean, you had Steve Smith,
Yeah, Rasheed
Wallace. You had a bunch of other dudes on that
Yeah,
team.
great.
So wait, so this is what I'm saying. We can't have it both ways. Does MJ make Pippen disappear? But when Pippen goes to another team and makes it to the Western Conference Finals, those guys were like incredible at that point. Like, are we counting teammates or are we not?
I'm looking at the stats right now. Scottie Pippen never averaged more than 14 points a game after he played with Michael Jordan.
Sheesh.
Ooh.
Sheesh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's damn.
Body blow.
They were in the Western Conference Finals.
He averaged 14 points a game.
But 14 points is
Wow.
Kent Bazemore can average 14 points.
Kent Bazemore.
So wait.
He just Kent Bazemore.
Wait. Hey, so now because Scottie after that was supposed to go get 30 a game.
If he's this great legendary player that you're talking about, yeah.
Hey, Michael Jordan with the Wizards still averaged 20, Dre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Michael Jordan got a little juice.
Hey, y'all can call Scottie trash, but
we didn't say he was trash. He was trash.
He wasn't trash. When he played with Jordan,
he just wasn't the same player.
We're saying, Coach, you're saying that we wouldn't even know who Scottie Pippen was if it wasn't for Mike. He only averaged 16 for his whole career, Coach. How much was he supposed to score after Mike left?
Those 16 and the assists and the steals and everything stood out more because he was always on the big stage because he was playing with the greatest dude to ever play. He averaged 14 after Mike. Like, I mean,
he averaged 16 for his career. That's not a big drop.
But what did he average? What did he average doing that?
He averaged 22,
21,
19, 20, 19, back 5 years in a row playing with Mike. So you can't just pick his bad years and his good years and do the whole total. When he played with Mike, he averaged 20. Like, he was a different player.
He was a young man. Yeah, sure. He averaged 22 at 28. Yeah. That's kind of how age works.
I do not remember him after the Bulls.
Damn, Bryce. Even I know he played with Houston.
Yeah.
He played with Houston.
That Houston year was ugly. I don't
remember any of that.
That was the end.
That Houston year was ugly.
Houston is his best year after he played with Jordan. That's the year he averaged 14. He was worse after that. He averaged 10 and 12 after that. He sucked after that.
To me, that Houston year was them kind of rain checks and trying to put that together. To me, that was an ugly team. The way that team played, that was an ugly team.
Hey, can we call Rodman the GOAT for going to the Monday Night Nitro?
According to Coach LeBerry, he's a scrub.
Rodman did his whole time. Rodman won championships, did all kind of stuff without Mike. So that whole theory doesn't work with Rodman. Rodman was always good.
So Mike would have won without Pippen, without Phil.
See, you're twisting my words. Mike needed everybody on his team to win championships. But Mike also made everyone on his team better than they were. It's a two-way street. I mean, listen to the dudes on the documentary. Steve Kerr said, I overachieved. Like BJ Armstrong will tell you right now, he overachieved. John Paxton will tell you he overachieved. Like Luke Longley. Like those dudes suck when they play with anybody else. But with Mike,
So dudes that left Mike didn't have the same career, Andre. Dudes that left Mike didn't have the same career after that.
I mean,
Horace Grant, not the same.
Ron Harper was a better player before he came to Chicago, pre-injury.
He was pre-injury. No,
But he called pre-injury.
He came to Chicago after he had been hurt. He was a way better player before Mike.
But we're not saying that. You're talking about
Horace
after
Grant was
injury.
in the finals after that.
Horace Grant was not the same player after he left, except that 1 year.
He had the one good year with Orlando. That's it. But that's what great players do. I mean, I'm using your argument against you. You're the one who told me Tim Duncan. Remember? Rewind the tape, man. Marcus, rewind the tape, man. He got to hear his own words. You told me. I didn't tell you. You told me Tim Duncan made those guys better. So if Tim Duncan made those guys better, why didn't Michael Jordan make those guys better?
But that's what I'm saying. I never said that he didn't. I never said MJ didn't make those guys better.
So what I'm telling you,
saying that they were great. I'm not rolling with that Scottie Pippen is somebody who we don't even know who he is without MJ.
He's just a random without Michael Jordan. Just a random.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. I can't roll with that.
Hey, fortunately for him, he played with Mike, so he's not a random. He's ended up being a top 50 player. Good for him.
Okay.
Perfect timing.
I don't want to go have the conversation of the fall offs of with LeBron versus without LeBron, because this ain't about that. I'll enjoy MJ. But I think it's weird how the argument shifts based on who we're talking about. Like it's not really consistent.
How does it shift?
Because when you start talking about LeBron, and I'll just try to go here quickly, we'll get back to MJ. When you start talking about LeBron, then people want to tell you about how great his supporting cast was. Like people start arguing with you how great Boobie Gibson was, like how great Larry Hughes.
Nobody's arguing with you about how great Boobie Gibson.
Nobody said Boobie Gibson,
bro. I promise
you must be talking to the wrong.
I promise you, you get conversations about how dope Mo Williams was. I swear to God, you never get the conversation of LeBron making guys better around him and his team's overachieving.
He made Mo Williams
even having a coach. You never
made Mo Williams an all-star. He was never an all-star again. He made Sharunas Ilgauskas an all-star.
Keep going. All of them. Everybody.
I'm just saying, so
Kyrie has never looked better.
So Kyrie didn't hit no big shots to help him win that championship?
No, he made big plays, just like
big
plays.
He made all the big shots and averaged 35 the last 4 games of the series.
He was great. Has he been just as great without LeBron? Has he been back to the finals?
It's been 2 years. He played with a young Boston Celtics team. He got hurt one time.
Back to the finals. Was he there before?
He plays with Kevin Durant. It's a good chance he'll be in the finals next year.
Wow.
Like it's really man, that whole LeBron MJ conversation gets really weird to me. And this is no less weird.
Because I don't understand how he could overachieve with teams when he had a super team and they went 2-2. So I don't get the overachieving argument. They went 2-2 with a super team. Lost to the Dallas Mavericks. Jason the Jet Terry was doing this.
Hey.
I agree, Dave. MJ needed to, I don't think they get it done without him. I think this documentary kind of showed that. They don't get it done without that dude, man. But
it showed two sides of Pippen, though. Did it not? I mean, we saw him with a back injury, and we saw him not want to get off the bench and come in the game.
We saw him miss them free throws.
Hey, Pippen
we saw MJ miss the game winner. Come back and get it done.
And hit the game winner after that.
Come back and you get it done.
I'm just saying. I feel like we saw a different size of Pippen that.
Hey, I lived through the whole migraine stuff, man. I don't think Kukoc got enough love I think he caught the raise the whole time.
How much more love did he need to get? He had a whole segment.
Well, I think they're talking about just in basketball, period. Him as a player. I don't know that he got the love that he should have got. I think that whole
man, it wasn't really about him, was it?
Well, I mean, like Coach said, you ain't hear nothing about Tony Kukoc after Jordan left.
Yeah, what happened to him?
I don't even know what happened. I don't even know if he stayed on that team. I'd have to look it up after they broke the team up.
Hey, Coach, you ain't hear nothing else from him.
Hey, if you gotta look it up, that tell you all you need to know, man.
I don't even know what happened to him at all. But I don't know what happened to Drew Gooden either. So
Drew Gooden.
Are you comparing Tony Kukoc?
Gooden.
Come on, man. That's crazy, man.
Hey man, I don't know who's a bum and who's not a bum. Like you tell me he's a regular player. Without MJ, he's a regular player.
Kukoc was a top 5 pick. They said he was the best player to come out of Europe at that time ever.
So he's not a regular player.
He was never that. He was never that.
Okay.
I don't know if Drew Gooden was the best player out of his state.
I'm gonna go to what to the Utah Jazz because this is crazy. Whatever happened to Jerry Sloan? Did Jerry Sloan just gracefully retire and bow out? Like I saw that. That's a coach that I really liked back then, and it's like, boom, he vanished. After Stockton Malone retired, was that his last year? Did he coach again after that?
I think he coached Darren Williams.
Yeah, he did.
But he coached Darren Williams.
He did.
It was supposed to be Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer. That's supposed to be the new Utah.
Yeah.
I think he was just an old school coach and didn't really like the younger school guys, and he just kind of stopped coaching.
If I got a chance to coach John Stockton, then I had to coach a bunch of young knuckleheads, I might quit too. You got to coach John Stockton for 20 years, it felt like. I don't know what the number is, but it felt like 20. I don't know that I would want to coach them young dudes either.
Are we skipping the whole the significance of Steve Kerr's background in comparison to Mike's background and how that helped them get over a hump in games? I didn't know anything about Kerr's situation. Never heard of that until now.
I've never heard him say a word about it. Ever.
I thought that was a great part of the documentary. Like it kind of gave some more insight on him and probably just his inner workings, why he might have related to Jordan a little bit more, even though they didn't talk about it.
Right.
And just a guy who's so in the public, for us to never hear that story is very interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
It's another dude that's got it done.
Mm-hmm.
How many did he get in San Antonio? He went to the ring in San Antonio. I can't remember how many.
2. I think he got 2.
As like this might sound crazy, but so Kerr gets the best of Indiana with Mark Jackson, and then he also ends up taking over his job and
thought about that too.
Gets the best out of Golden State and gets some rings out of that situation. Sheesh.
Man, I think one thing that I'm reminded of watching the Bulls play is it reminds me a lot of the Warriors. The ball movement reminds me a lot of the Warriors, where, man, you got to guard that ball from side to side, moving like that, and you got pros that can make shots. Like, that's so tough, man. And to me, Steve Kerr got to play back-to-back in systems that were like that. Like, he went from Chicago and the type of ball movement they had to go play in San Antonio in that same type of, I mean, not the exact same system, but that same type of style as far as multiple guys being able to beat you, multiple guys getting off. Like,
Steve Kerr got a good agent. Put him in some good situations and make some good decisions.
Sure.
Yeah. Steve Kerr had a nice run, man. I didn't realize how many like people only talk about the shot with him, but he played a bigger impact than that for them.
Right.
Because I think when the documentary first came, see, here we go, Mondre. When it first came out, you were probably one of the ones like, why is he even shown?
Never. No, no. Coach LeBerry
That
is.
do sound like you, Dre. That do sound like you.
Hey, Coach LeBerry just said them dudes was horrible. Don't talk about me. I didn't say that.
But with them, he played an important role for them. He was getting major minutes.
He played an important role. But I remember him coming off the bench for the Spurs and knocking down clutch threes in the finals for the Spurs. I feel like he played an important role on every team he was on. He was never going to miss a free throw ever. Like, to me, I thought he played an important role on every team that he was on.
You mean the two teams you remember he was on?
True. I don't remember him in Cleveland. I know he played for Cleveland, but I don't
do you remember him in Portland?
And remember, exactly. No.
You?
Because he went from San Antonio to Portland for a year and then back to San Antonio. So that one Portland year doesn't really – I don't know what he did.
I like the fact that Karl Malone came on the bus after losing that second championship. Shook everybody's hand, man to man, eye-to-eye contact. Went all the way to the back by the bathroom.
So you didn't get no music this episode. Not really.
I don't think guys do that. I mean, they barely want to say good game at the end of the game and do this. I thought that showed a great appreciation for his respect for those guys and just what kind of guy he was.
Skittles is on point.
But Coach, they don't shake hands. You know, they just exchange jerseys now.
Yeah, and take pictures.
They take pictures.
Kerr is overrated. He stood in the corner. Wow.
What?
Hey, man.
I don't know, man. Kerr was handling that thing in the finals.
Kerr was.
I think Kerr's picture was on there for not really the basketball part, though. To me, I thought his picture was on there for a couple. Obviously to get a different demographic, maybe to watch it. People know who he is. They resonate with him. He's a championship coach, played on some championship team. And then also that story that he ended up telling at the end, he had a big portion of the last episode of the documentary. I don't think he was on there because they think he was like an integral part of the team. I don't think so. I think it was for all the other reasons. He still had value. He had value on the team, but he had value in the documentary and value in who he is.
Yeah. Whether that player was Steve Kerr or whether that player was John Paxson, or whether that player was B.J. Armstrong, whether that player was Craig Hodges, the Chicago Bulls, while they were winning, always had a reliable player in that role. And I don't know that they do as much winning as they do without a reliable player in that role.
But how many teams can you say could just manufacture a guy in that role, that many guys in that role?
You got a great GM that could.
Or is that because of the guy they're playing with can kind of just make those guys look better?
I'm not going there. I'm not.
Hey, give them, coach.
I'm not going there, bro. Because, I mean, are they important? Are they good or not, man? I don't understand. Okay.
It's just interesting that they didn't anybody else. I mean, but, I guess.
I mean, he was wide open on those shots, though. Most of them, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to double off on the Jordan. And who are you going to double off on?
But you're wide open for a reason, right?
It's going to be that guy.
He shouldn't have been open.
Double off Rodman to get every rebound.
Wait, so if we double off, we're saying that it's a smart thing to double off one of the highest percentage three-point shooters in the game and one of the best free throw shooters in the game, that we're going to double off his guy.
They should have left Scottie.
Who else you going to double off of?
I mean, wasn't Luke Longley on the floor at the time?
Who's going to box him out to get offensive rebound?
I don't know that I believe in that shooter wide open. Yeah, just leave Kerr wide open for three.
Who's going to box him out to get the rebound? If you get off of Luke Longley or Dennis Rodman, how you going to get a rebound? You don't double off Pippen. It's going to be the other guy. It's going to be Ron Harper or those 9 guys that are great players with the Bulls, but average with everybody else.
Hey man, double off one of the average guys, man.
Why not leave? Why not leave? Well, I guess you can't leave Pippen, but I mean,
He watched, man. I don't know.
Pippen would usually dive to the basket. He didn't kind of.
that's right.
So when he dives, if you leave off him, that's a dunk. You know what I'm saying? Or he's gonna get
mid range, a little floater. Right.
He shot 44% from 3 that year.
Who?
Steve Kerr. 44 that year, 40 the year before that, and like I'm not rushing to double off that guy. I get it though.
It's just a tough situation with Jordan because like you gotta double him with somebody.
Got to.
Man, if you can shoot it, boy, it's always a way for you to get on the floor. I will say that. Hey, why was Reggie Miller's wristband so big?
They made him
Can't get his true hand wet, man.
Hey, Reggie Miller's wristband was like this big, bro. I thought he was wearing the what's that thing that Ghostface Killer used to wear on his arm? That Iron Eagle.
Yeah.
Like you hold yeah.
Reggie, dope.
I seen that. So we don't think nowadays that Karl Malone going and shaking hands with those guys. Like, Coach, you talked about how that moment stood out to you.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about that? Like him congratulating him, and he beat him. That was the second time that they beat him.
Yeah. I mean, he probably knows that was his last time. That team probably wasn't going to be as good again. They were getting older. He played his ass off in that series, was MVP of the league that year. I mean, most guys, I think, just go home, man. I don't think for him to go on the bus and go all the way back to the bathroom and give Jordan a hug.
That was
crazy.
I mean, you can just walk out the other side of the arena and shoot him. We out.
No, I think they watched Isaiah get killed for it, so it was better to make sure that.
But you could do it on the court though.
Isaiah get killed.
The bus is a whole different level to me.
Yeah, they're doing extra.
I don't think
he's gonna talk about Brian Russell.
Whoa, Mike Miller and Shane Battier are better than Steve Kerr.
That's tough. That's tough.
Shane Battier did hit some big shots though.
I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but if Mike Miller and Shane Battier played with Michael Jordan, y'all don't think they would have been respected a little bit different?
Yeah,
they would have been.
Yeah, both. Yeah. I didn't like how he walked in, but I didn't like how his shirt was tucked in his jeans though.
That was a style.
Untuck your t-shirt from your jeans, bro.
You showing your belt and everything tucked.
That is LeBron better than Kobe, Dave? I'm not going there with these comparisons anymore. I'm not.
Kobe go there
because now we gonna
appreciate that, Coach.
Okay. Kobe's better.
Okay. Yep.
Hey,
what you gonna say? Shaq carried him for the 3. That's the main argument because he got 5.
I don't think that's the argument at all. I think Kobe and Shaq had the same benefit
from each
other. Number one, you get to play with an all-time great and somebody who at one time was better than you. I think we could definitely say that Kobe getting to play with Shaq at the time where Shaq was better than him.
And what about the last 2?
Was affordable. I think, again, you get to play with Phil Jackson. You get to play for Tex Winners. You get to play in that system. You also be surrounded by a really good team. Like, he had a great collection of talent on that last 2.
Andrew Bynum?
Bynum was an all-star.
Yeah. When's the last time Andrew Bynum was good? When's the last time Andrew Bynum was good?
I think was he an all-star on that first that championship versus Orlando?
Hey, Coach, bro, he was killing. Hey, Andrew Bynum pre-injury was killing.
Bynum had a few solid years.
He was a pretty good player.
League situations.
Bad knee injuries, man, took his career from him. But I'm not gonna knock him like that as a player to say like he couldn't hoop. Like had two
Even
seven.
even Shaq would admit that he played his best basketball when he played with Kobe.
He played his best basketball for Phil, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Kobe doesn't get any credit for that. I'm not going there with the comparison between LeBron and Kobe. I think those guys, again, had an opportunity to play with some great players for a great coach. Like, they got it done.
So Jalen, so you just totally disagree with Jalen Rose's comment that guys are getting their turn during LeBron's era?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that LeBron can do about that. Like, we keep bringing his name up. I'm trying to get away from that. But tell me the coach that LeBron has played for. Who's the great coach that he's played for?
Well, he gets all his coaches fired.
Who has been the great Hall of Fame coach that he got a chance to play?
One of the 9 of them he's played for. He gets
Paul Silas. Paul Silas was the great coach that he got to play for. Like,
I forgot about Paul Silas.
Tyronn Lewis,
man, come on, man. Like, and that's the part about this whole comparison thing that I don't like, is that we don't want to have it like objectively. So that
I don't know how, but did you want him to play for Phil? Like, if he didn't play for Phil, then there's gonna be no comparison anyway.
No, I think if you play for Pop, Pop got 5 with Tim Duncan. I think that's comparable. I think that's another good legendary coach that's come through and got it done. Highly respected.
So now LeBron's reason that he has 3 championships because he doesn't have a good coach?
No. That's not
I've been waiting on some new material. That's a good one right there. I like that one.
Here's the thing. I don't know that I've looked at, again, trying to get away from this, but I don't know that I've looked at LeBron outside of the Dallas series in the majority of the series they're in and felt like they were the overwhelming favorite going in.
That's the argument I always hear, but I don't understand.
Like, so to me, you get another one if when he's with the Cavaliers the first time that they play against the Warriors, Kevin Love gets hurt right before the series, and then Kyrie Irving goes down with a knee injury in the series, and LeBron looked like Superman. The next best player on his team was who? Do we remember? Exactly.
Injury is part of the game. Like, that can't be part of the
dude from Australia playing against the Warriors, and they still made it a great series. Like, I feel like we act like that all those things are equal when they're not.
That's like saying that Draymond getting kicked out is the only reason that they beat the Warriors. Like, if they beat them, they beat them. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You either win the series or you lose the series. Like, don't make excuses for him. Like, he's lost all those series. He lost 4-1 twice. He's been swept before. He's 3-6 overall in the finals. He lost in the Olympics. The only team with an NBA players that lost in the Olympics. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's so much losing that he's done that, like, it's amazing that people just defend him the way they defend him.
The thing that I don't understand about it is, what I don't get is it's almost as if you get less credit for going to the finals and losing versus not making it to the finals or not making it to the playoffs at all. How do you get more credit for not making it than you do for making it?
I don't think you do. I don't know why getting to the finals is like, you either win the championship or you don't win the championship. Like, because you get to the finals in the East and you beat the Toronto Raptors and the Atlanta Hawks. Like, so? Like, what? I don't get it. Like, okay, you beat the Hawks. Wow. Like, okay, you got to win a championship, especially if you're supposed to be in the GOAT conversation. Win the championship. Find a way. People get hurt. Find a way. Pippen got hurt. Pippen's back got hurt in Game 6. I don't even remember that. When I watched the game, I don't even remember. What we remember is Jordan got 45. He had the game-winning shot, and they won a championship. Pippen was in and out the locker room. I didn't even remember that until I just watched the documentary.
No, I definitely remember that.
But Jordan wasn't gonna say, "Fucking Pippen got hurt. We just can't win it. Fuck, we can't win it. He got hurt. We tried our best. He said he's gonna find a way to win it because that's what the great ones do. You got to win it. There's no excuses to it.
He on your butt tonight, Dre.
I mean, I
coach
just
on your butt tonight.
hey, Locke.
same argument over and over again. Like they give him so much credit for getting to the finals and losing. So what? Who cares?
I this conversation way farther, but I'm trying to get away from this LeBron MJ thing because I just don't. I don't think any side of it, whether when you talk about LeBron, MJ, or Kobe, that any side of it is going to be rational when it comes to it at all. Like,
I don't
Coach,
even.
you gotta come to the studio. Coach, you gotta come to the studio.
Like, so I don't even
the studio, man.
Dave. So Pat Riley did not coach the Heat, not when LeBron was there. He stayed away from that office. We had that talk too. That Pat Riley actually stayed away when Spo was coaching the Heatles.
Zero. Hey,
But I think
Skittles, man.
No, I'm not gonna make that argument, bro. I'm really not, because I've had this conversation. We looked all this stuff up. We looked at how many players won multiple championships without a Hall of Fame coach. We've been through all of these numbers and shown and I think that's part of the reason why, though, that you see players taking their legacy into their own hands and creating teams which people hate. And it's because they don't want to be judged by things that are outside of their control. Like they're not, they were trusting GMs who couldn't get it done year after year, coaching, hiring people who are bum coaches. Like you see guys that are taking their career in their own hands because of conversations like these, I think, because they don't want to wait for a GM to put something around them when they can just do it themselves. Like, but I could definitely make it an argument. I could. I've been doing it for a long time. I could definitely make it an argument. If you could only pick one, or actually no, MJ's car game, I think, is slept on as elite.
Oh,
that 9/11 he pulled off with that range in the last weeks.
Oh,
the car game has been elite.
Yeah.
The car game might be better than the shoe game. Low key.
But his shoe game was based off some of his cars. So you kind of see where he got it from.
You're right, Dave. No excuse when they lost to Dallas. No excuse. Yeah.
He had some nice suits too, man. That gold suit, I rock that.
They were just
so rock that right now, dog, with the Steve Harvey shoulder pad.
Not the baggy version. Not the baggy version.
You gonna rock that right now, Steve, with the elbow pads and everything. I was tripping that watching those guys pregame take shots from the hash mark, almost like they were trick shots. Guys are shooting that in games now. Like that's a game shot for guys now. Like they were taking it almost like they were taking half court shots. That's a game shot for guys nowadays. Like
I was confused by that too. And then they went crazy when Jordan made it.
Yeah. Like dudes is taking that on a step off.
Hey. Ahmad Rashad had the juice.
He rolled to the game with Jordan.
Bro,
in the rain.
Ahmad was in some tough company. Let's say that. When you best friends with MJ, OJ, and Bill Cosby, y'all seen that picture?
I didn't see that picture.
Oh my goodness. Like they were at a
man, Ahmad, he got some stories to tell then.
Yeah.
He need to have a 30 for 30.
He's never gonna tell it, dog. I don't think we ever gonna get the real stories from Ahmad Rashad.
Dang, Jay Hillsman went crazy, didn't he?
Hey, Coach K was his best coach.
Coach K was his best coach. That was in the Olympics.
Hey, I'm about to log off, man. I enjoyed it, man. I tried to rile you up, man. You wouldn't take the bait.
We
Don't worry. I'm gonna be tweeting at you and everything. Don't worry. You're gonna take the bait.
Hey, coach, we got to get you at the studio.
man, we can glad.
We got to get you at the studio.
I don't want to turn MJ's doc into that conversation, but we can gladly have that conversation.
I'm gonna be tweeting at you all week. You gonna take the bait. I already know.
I'll take the bait at 12:32 when we get off.
Hey, coach, don't say take the bait. He'll be talking about real food. That's why he gets so excited.
That's partially true. That's partially true.
So,
y'all boys
got to use another term. All right, coach.
You too.
Yeah, I don't ruin MJ's celebration. I don't want to be the drunk uncle at the party talking reckless.
Hey, we still got to talk about this Monday night Nitro.
NWO, the new world order.
They called him Rodzilla.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, bro, Rodzilla.
Hey, you gotta give credit to Eric Bischoff, because when they was competing against Raw, and for him, I know they ratings went up that day. The ratings.
Ryman really left the finals to go wrestle and hit somebody with a chair on TV. Like, but that's more so what I'm talking about. Like, coaching and the leadership in an organization, like that didn't rattle them at all. He just,
Dennis being Dennis. Dennis was just being Dennis. You got to respect that, though. Yeah, I need to go somewhere where I can leave off my job, go party, come right back.
It made me respect Phil even more, like being able to lead a team like that. When Phil is going over the defensive game plan and MJ's telling him, I ain't switching. I'm not switching. I'm running through it. I ain't switching. Like in an era, a time where we try to overcoach guys, to me, that said a lot too. I think they did. I think him and Carmelo did wrestle after that series. Who won? Y'all remember? Who got footage?
I don't remember. I remember seeing the picture, but I never did watch that match.
I hope Dennis didn't keep Carmelo. Hey, what was y'all listening to pregame? Is that why
Future,
we were killers? Because we wasn't listening to Kenny Lattimore pregame?
I'm listening to Future.
Hey, how young is you? You was listening to Future before?
Future wasn't out when you.
I thought you were talking about today.
We were probably listening to like Jay-Z or Nas or something like that.
Dude, well, I was listening to Phil Mob.
I can get that.
Phil Mob, T.I. and Lil Flip.
Lil Flip.
Game over.
T.I. definitely T.I. Jeezy. No,
Jeezy.
Jeezy didn't come out until I was in college, so definitely T.I. Yeah.
I was in 9th grade when So Icy came out. Game changer.
Gucci.
So Icy. Gucci and your Jeezy.
It's a bunch of dudes that came through in the 90s. I know Dave in here. You was listening to EPMD. Dave was listening to EPMD before every game.
Where's Dave from?
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
From up north. So it was definitely something like that. That pregame selection, man, I was thrown off when because I think Bruce Thornton was on the next 360 show. I think that SUVtv was hosting, and he mentioned that he was listening to Mary J before games. Maybe you gotta listen to R&B to be a killer, dog.
You might have to get a different vibe sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, kind of mellow you out, relax you a little bit, and that Kenny G probably calmed him down. Master P, yeah. That Kenny G probably, mellow them out a little bit.
We had Pastor Troy playing in the locker room.
We had Pastor Troy. Yeah.
That
Georgia boy, that went hard when that thing came in. Everybody was going crazy.
Hey, we had that, and we had the what's the song called from Ballin' by Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, yeah. Dipset was crazy. Yeah, Dipset was popping back then. Yeah.
Hey, so y'all think somebody spiked MJ's pizza? Is that the story that we really rolling with?
What else could it have been? I don't think he would have just been. Now that I think about it, I don't think he would have just got the flu out of nowhere. He just played. He was. I mean, it makes sense.
I feel like he couldn't wait till the next morning to get breakfast.
Hey, so we not gonna say that was the Henny game no more. We're saying that was the flu game.
Any game ain't gonna do that to you though, bro.
No.
You'll be good by 8 o'clock at night.
Facts. You just need a good 12 hours.
A couple of hours.
It's 8 hours of sleep. Pop some goody powder.
Let me see how old Jordan was. Because I think y'all talking about a 20-something bounce back. How old was MJ? He was 34.
Oh yeah. You need a full 24 or 48 hours. bounce back from a Henny night.
I will give MJ this though. I mean, it might have been a little hard to get Henny in Utah. So maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was flu pizza.
Let's keep it like that.
Hey, so MJ ordered a pizza and nobody ate none. You got all them security guards that's just sitting up in the room watching MJ eat pizza.
MJ probably didn't want to share.
But I mean,
Tim Grover paid.
So what else could it have been?
Man, that was Henny.
No.
Hennessy don't do that to you.
Nah, bro, it don't do that to you.
Not in the middle of the night.
I don't know if that's how that was. I'm gonna take it from MJ though. It was flu pizza. I think I mean you definitely hear about people doing the home team doing stuff to the visiting team, messing with their hotel room. Maybe somebody put something in his food.
Had to be food poisoning.
Dude, if 5 guys show up at my door delivering one pizza, I'm not eating it though.
Yeah, that's suspect too, though. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I look at my Uber driver crazy sometimes when I order Uber Eats. So you got 5 people dropping out one piece of pizza. Nah.
They had to know it was from MJ too.
Nah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Karl Malone got busy. Do we feel bad for Brian Russell?
I do.
Yeah. He went out bad.
Got did dirty.
Yeah, he got did dirty. Yeah, but I mean, I don't even think crazy thing is I don't think he meant any harm by what he was doing when what he said as a younger player.
But just talking. Ben know better.
Just talking. But I can't fight him. That's because that shot, man, that push off is not like that.
It wasn't you know what? When they showed the backside of it, it wasn't a push off.
Yeah, the push off. It wasn't a push off. He didn't push him off at all.
No, it wasn't. He didn't.
He was already going to the floor anyway. Like he was so rattled, he didn't know how to guard him at that point. So, but I mean that scenario, that sequence is going to be replayed over and over and over again,
for sure,
as it has been already. So.
I think he messed up.
Do you think anybody from Utah watched the documentary? I couldn't watch it.
Of course they did.
I don't think so. I don't think everybody watched it.
You talking about the players? You talking about the players or the fans?
Yeah, former players.
I mean, John Stockton probably had watched it at one point.
I don't know.
He's in it.
I think guys, when it came to MJ, guys have just kind of let it go. That he's that guy when it comes to MJ. I don't know if I could watch it though.
I couldn't.
If I played it, I don't know if I could watch it.
I was Brian Russell. I was just like, man, you know what?
Jalen Rose talks a lot about that though. That he was on some, you know what I mean, like FMJ type stuff before that because he was a Detroit Pistons fan. So when he got to Indiana, it was like a natural rivalry with him, and he didn't really rock with him even after that. For a minute. But sometimes you get beat, man. Great players, man. That's my thing, though. If you know, if they lose that game and it's food poisoning, somebody would have got sued. Or Dave saying the pizza shop gonna try to sue him. He ain't name names. Jordan dry snitched on everybody, dog. Even the pizza shop in Utah. Dave said he came out to you guys to chill. EPMD. I knew y'all did.
Never heard of it.
Let me ask this, bro. Are winners, do y'all feel like winners are born, or is winning something that you can develop?
I think
you can develop it. I mean, Mike probably learned through his experiences at UNC and his in high school and other places and losing how to win. So I mean, it's not like you just Kobe and Mike and LeBron, all these dudes just are naturally born winners. Nah, they learned how to win. They learned what it took to win at each level.
They won at every level. So I think that plays a role when you start off winning as early in your as a youngster. As you get older, you just develop, finding ways how to win.
I'm always amazed at guys like that. I don't know that we watch that much anymore. I think we celebrate guys before they win so much now, whether it's high school, college, or pro. Like, we celebrate guys, we kind of put them on that pedestal before they actually win anything. They get a lot of money before you actually get a lot of wins. That used to be reserved for a small class. But now you ain't even got to win playoffs before you sign big checks. You ain't even got to get to the playoffs.
It's all about potential, man. Potential.
What's the we talked about a couple of docs that we would see, that we would want to see, but how long do you guys think? I mean, I think at this point we for sure get a Kobe doc. I think after people see the reaction to this, I think we get one for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I think the Kobe one is going to take a significant amount of time to do.
Yeah. Can't do it too early either.
No, you gotta wait. You gotta wait a minute.
It's because Mike just got this, and he's been retired, so we may not see Kobe for another 10 years. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I think
you have to wait on Kobe because there's too many of us, I think, that's not over it.
No, yeah. That'll be hard to watch.
It's too painful, to watch, I think, now. I think it's too many people who ain't over that.
I mean, we've seen the Fab Five. We've seen, of course, they didn't. It was a 30 for 30. They didn't go as deep into it, but I mean, we've seen a lot of them. We've seen a lot of them. I don't know what else could be left besides maybe a LeBron after retirement type of situation.
It's a good one that is out. I haven't seen it. Stephon Marbury has one.
Marbury has one.
Has one too.
The Lenny Cook one is good.
That's pretty good. The Lenny Cook story is really good.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that yet either.
Yeah.
I just finished your PG County today. And then
I think people from the area were it got different reviews because they felt like it could have went deeper into more players.
I said the same thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that was the case, they should have done like how they did with The Last Dance, done 2, 3, and 4. Then they could have got into more players because I mean, there's way more players than Kevin Durant and Quinn Cook. Like,
I'm surprised it was just an hour.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be in multiple parts. I mean, you got Victor Oladipo. I mean, there's so many dudes.
I think it's something that probably got pushed ahead, just like this documentary did.
Yeah.
They got pushed ahead because of the quarantine. It probably wasn't quite done yet, though. But I agree, Bryce. I thought it was going to be multiple people. Talking about this type of stuff, though, Man, I got a lot of respect for Jalen Rose, man. Like when you look at what he was able to do in high school, Detroit Southwestern, then you go on to the 5-5. You in one of the
Jalen had a great career.
Yeah. Then you get to be a part of the things he got to be a part of at the pro level, and now after that, still winning.
Yeah,
in broadcasting. So, like, he's got a chance to make his name in another way. Like we talk about LeBron school, Jalen has his leadership academy too, a charter school as well. One of the first two guys to really do that. So,
yeah.
I think the two things that I like seeing nowadays from players in that era, I love to see the guys with kids and watch their kids play. I get a real kick out of that. And then I like to see the guys impact.
We probably could get like a John Thompson, Georgetown era type of thing. I don't know if it might already be one already.
That would be yes.
Like I said, it would be. We really got to dig on this because I mean we've seen so much of this stuff, but I mean John Thompson would definitely be with them dudes at Georgetown would be good. That would be good to see.
I think AI's
Florida Gators, 2 back-to-back national championships.
Yeah,
that'll be dope.
That'll be really good. So I mean, there's some stuff out there. I think you just would take some time.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I had, man, that I wanted to make sure that we talked about. I think we got it. But I definitely want that smoke for those comparison talks at some point because we get crazy. We act like all of a sudden then there are things that don't matter for certain players. It's crazy to me. But I think this documentary kind of set the tone for what we're gonna see moving forward. I think the 30 for 30s are good, but maybe not enough.
I got it, Dave.
Right. I think every documentary that we see after this, like, is gonna be a step up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I actually would like to go back and watch this one again. Like, I'm going to do that. I hope it comes on and stuff again because I plan on going back because I know it's parts that I missed. You know what I mean? There's always pictures you missed or something, some small detail that you missed. Like, I plan on going back to watch the DC, the PG County one too because I know it's some stuff that I probably missed within the mix. Speaking of that, the Matha, that's another one that you can get on. Any type of powerhouse program shoot, at some point you're probably gonna get like a Sharman White. I mean, dudes who have won 7. I mean, you know what I mean. Just being honest, he won 7 state championships. At some point, you gotta recognize that he's gonna get something. So it's a lot of stories out here. It's a lot of stories.
I think they need to do one of the Super Funny.
See, my thing is, and I was gonna say that too, or like I was gonna say the Knicks, but it's like we just got that. We just got the story.
I think Seattle is better since we don't have a team in Seattle anymore.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying, like, as far as bringing it back to where it began, Mike beat you. We know who's on the next team. So I mean, we kind of got that a little bit. That's what I was saying. And Seattle probably would be good, especially since they don't have, like you said, they don't have a team anymore, and they went to OKC and they lost their team, stuff like that. But a lot of it is just like we saw what happened. So,
man, Bryce, that's your phone?
I don't know who keep texting me, man. It's y'all texting.
No, that ain't me. I can't get texts after 12:30.
But guys, I think the documentary was like, I think it goes without saying that it was extremely well done. I think it got done the only way it could for one of the greatest players ever, or the greatest player of all time. So, like, I love what I saw. I could go 10 more episodes, man.
I mean, I feel like there's got to be enough on this on Mike and the Bulls for like 2 more. It's got to be. It's got to be. But
man, that's my show. I appreciate y'all, everybody joining us for this ride, man. It's been a heck of a dance for us.
5 straight weeks.
5 straight weeks.
Yeah, we've been going hard, man.
So
going crazy.
MJ got it done. Got us through 5 weeks of the quarantine.
That.
So we opening up, boy. We opening up.
I better order your mask if you don't got one.
I'm gonna let y'all catch that first wave.
Man, please, you've been going out getting your hair cut. Come on.
Hey, man, I told you, me and my barber got a personal relationship where I don't mess up my haircut schedule for nobody.
That's my cue to get us out of here, man. This is the Love of the Game podcast. It's your boy Mondre Allen from the Love of the Game crew. This was your Last Dance reaction show series brought to you by our wonderful partners at SUVtv. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, turn your notifications on. Don't miss all the great content that we got moving forward, boy. But until then, it's your boy Mondre Allen. We out.
We out.